Inside the private world of Saudi royalty, behind the walls of Saudi Arabia's royal palaces, exists a world almost nobody ever sees. A world of trillion-dollar fortunes, private jets the size of mansions, billion-dollar yachts floating across the Mediterranean, and a level of power so vast, it can reshape global markets overnight. This is the House of Saud, one of the richest and most powerful families in human history. But their real influence goes far beyond luxury, because while the world watches the spectacle, the real decisions are happening behind closed doors in a kingdom built on oil, secrecy, and absolute control. The Saudi royal family doesn't just own wealth. They control a system capable of influencing energy prices, global investments, geopolitics, technology, and even the future of entire cities, from hidden palace networks and luxury empires to political purges, trillion-dollar mega projects, and the rise of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This is a world where unimaginable money and unchecked power collide. And the deeper you go into this kingdom, the more unbelievable it becomes. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the private world of Saudi royalty, uncovering the luxury, the secrecy, the influence, and the controversies hidden behind one of the most powerful dynasties on Earth. Section 1. The Trillion-Dollar Dynasty. To understand the House of Saud, you first have to try and wrap your head around a number that's almost impossible to comprehend. Some estimates put the collective net worth of the royal family as high as $1.4 trillion, a figure that would make them, by far, the richest on the planet. Their fortune dwarfs that of other monarchies like the British royals. This isn't old money passed down through centuries. This is black gold. Before the 1930s, many members of the family were living in poverty, their lives tied to the harsh realities of the Arabian Peninsula. Then American surveyors struck oil, and in an instant, the kingdom's destiny was rewritten. This gusher of wealth flows from one primary source, Saudi Aramco, the state-owned oil behemoth and one of the most valuable companies in the world. It's the engine of the kingdom and the foundation of royal power. But this is where the lines begin to blur. In Saudi Arabia, the distinction between the wealth of the state and the private fortunes of the royal elite is fuzzy at best. The family is enormous, with estimates of up to 15,000 members. However, the real power and the lion's share of the wealth are concentrated within a tight circle of perhaps 2,000 senior princes. Their access to this fortune isn't just about a salary. It comes from privileged access to land, lucrative government contracts, and a complex web of family businesses that are deeply intertwined with the state. This fusion of state and family wealth is the first key to understanding their world. It's not just a lifestyle, it's a system of control. The family doesn't just have money, they are the money. Every major economic decision, from oil production quotas that affect the price you pay for gas to massive international investments, is influenced by this small, powerful circle. But if the source of their wealth is this staggering, what do they spend it on? This is where the story moves from abstract finance to the very tangible, almost unbelievable world of royal luxury. Section 2. The Palaces of Power. For the Saudi royal family, a home is never just a home. It's a statement of power, a fortress of privacy, and a theater for diplomacy. Let's start with the Al Yamama Palace in Riyadh. Spread over a vast area, it serves as the official residence and office of the king. With its Italian marble floors, movie theater, and bowling alley, it's less a house and more a self-contained city. Then you have the Urga Palace, a lavish setting for state receptions and a symbol of Saudi hospitality. But their real estate empire extends far beyond the kingdom's borders. It's a global portfolio of trophy assets designed for privacy and prestige. Take the Chateau Louis XIV in France. Dubbed the world's most expensive home, it was reportedly purchased for over $300 million through a series of shell companies that led back to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Inspired by Versailles, it has 10 bedrooms, a cinema, and a moat with a transparent underwater chamber, a piece of French history reimagined as a private playground. In London, they own sprawling mansions in the city's most exclusive districts like Mayfair. In Paris, historic residences near the Champs-Élysées. These aren't just vacation homes, they are strategic assets, private embassies in the world's most important capitals. Each palace is a highly secured compound, complete with private staff and perimeters designed to keep the outside world at a distance. The visual language is always the same: immense halls, gold accents, and an overwhelming sense of scale. The message is clear. This is a world completely separate from ordinary life. But if their palaces on land are this impressive, just wait until you see their kingdoms at sea. This is where the display of wealth reaches an entirely new level. Section 3. The Floating Fortresses. The world of superyachts is the ultimate playground for billionaires, but for the Saudi royals, it's a domain they command. The most famous example is the 439-foot superyacht Serene. According to investigative reports, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bought it for around $400 million after spotting it while on vacation. The Serene is less a boat and more a floating resort. It features multiple swimming pools, 2 helipads, a spa, a cinema, and even an underwater viewing room to watch marine life glide by. And it's not alone. The Prince Abdulaziz, a 482-foot vessel, was for many years one of the largest yachts in the world and remains in the royal fleet. It can host 64 guests in opulent staterooms, a floating palace designed for absolute comfort and privacy. These vessels are maintained by full-time crews and cost tens of millions of dollars a year just for upkeep. Their private air force is just as impressive. The family operates a fleet of the world's most luxurious private jets, from Gulfstreams to customized Boeing business jets, often described as flying palaces. These jets are kitted out with master suites, full-size showers, and boardrooms, allowing the royals to travel the globe without ever setting foot in a public airport. It's not about convenience. It's about creating a seamless bubble of luxury and security, a private world that moves with them wherever they go. And these yachts and jets are more than just transport. They are mobile headquarters, private venues for sensitive meetings, and powerful symbols of a lifestyle lived beyond public scrutiny. They represent total separation, an ability to exist in a world where every corner of the globe is accessible on their own terms. And that brings us to the man who is now at the center of this world, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Section 4. The architect of modern Saudi, Mohammed bin Salman. If you want to understand modern Saudi Arabia, you have to understand one man, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, known globally as MBS. Ascending to his position in 2017, he has become the de facto ruler of the kingdom and the architect of its future. His personal wealth is a subject of intense speculation, but any specific number is almost meaningless because MBS wields decisive influence over the kingdom's economic juggernauts, including the Public Investment Fund, or PIF, which has assets under management approaching $1 trillion. His spending habits are the stuff of legend. He is the man reportedly behind the purchases of the Chateau Louis XIV and the superyacht Serene. In a move that stunned the art world, he was identified as the buyer of Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, which sold for a record-shattering $450.3 million. The painting's current whereabouts are a closely guarded secret, a fitting metaphor for the opaque world he inhabits. But MBS is not just a spender, he is a disruptor. Before him, the House of Saud operated on a system of consensus. MBS shattered that model. In 2017, he launched a so-called anti-corruption campaign, detaining hundreds of prominent figures, including rival princes and wealthy businessmen, inside the luxurious Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh. The official story was that this was a crackdown on graft. The result, however, was a massive consolidation of power and the recovery of over $100 billion in assets, effectively neutralizing any rivals and centralizing the kingdom's wealth and authority squarely under his control. He is a figure of stark contradictions. He's the reformer who allowed women to drive and opened the country to concerts and tourism. He is also the autocrat who has overseen a harsh crackdown on dissent. To understand the private world of the Saudi royals today is to understand the world that MBS has built, a world of breathtaking ambition, gilded luxury, and absolute centralized control. And the blueprint for this new world has a name: Vision 2030. We're about to go deep into the sci-fi-like mega projects and the hidden controversies of the kingdom. If you find this look behind the curtain fascinating, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Section 5. Vision 2030 and the City of the Future. If you want a physical manifestation of Saudi ambition under MBS, look no further than Vision 2030. Launched in 2016, it is a grand trillion-dollar plan to fundamentally remake the kingdom, weaning it off oil and transforming it into a global hub for technology and tourism. The kingdom has announced investments totaling well over $1 trillion to make it happen. Under Vision 2030, the country has undergone a dizzying transformation. Cinemas have opened, international music festivals have drawn massive crowds, and the tourism sector is booming. In fact, Saudi Arabia announced it had already hit its target of 100 million tourists ahead of schedule, a figure that includes both international and domestic visitors. Female participation in the workforce has also soared past original goals. The crown jewel of Vision 2030 is Neom, a futuristic mega-region in the northwest with a planned investment of around $500 billion. At its heart was its most audacious proposal, the Line. The initial pitch was something straight out of science fiction, a 170-kilometer-long, 500-meter-tall mirrored skyscraper housing 9 million people in a linear city, with no cars, no roads, and zero carbon emissions. But that colossal ambition has collided with reality. According to reports in 2024, the project was dramatically scaled back. The initial 170-kilometer length was reduced to a first phase of just 2.4 kilometers, and the 2030 population target was slashed from 1.5 million to around 300,000. While construction continues on a smaller scale, the grand, unbroken mirrored city remains a distant vision. Despite the pullback on the Line, other parts of Neom are moving forward. Sindala, a luxury island resort in the Red Sea, celebrated a grand opening in late 2024, though its full public launch has faced delays. Trojena, a mountain resort, is under construction to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games. And at Oxagon, a floating industrial port, a major green hydrogen plant is being built. These megaprojects are more than just construction. They are instruments of power. They project an image of modernity and absolute control over the future. Yet this glossy image of progress is built upon a foundation of something the royal family values above all else: secrecy. Section 6. The Kingdom of Secrecy. For all the talk of openness, the true currency of the House of Saud is secrecy. It permeates every aspect of their lives, from their finances to their family politics, creating an impenetrable wall around their private world. The family's exact wealth is one of the most closely guarded secrets on the planet. While estimates place their collective fortune in the trillions, the personal net worth of individual royals is almost entirely opaque. This isn't an accident. The blurring of state and personal funds makes a true accounting nearly impossible, shielding the family from public scrutiny. Internal family politics are just as hidden. The House of Saud is a sprawling dynasty with numerous factions. Historically, succession was a delicate balancing act. But under MBS, the old system was dismantled behind closed doors. The ousting of his older cousin, Mohammed bin Nayef, as crown prince happened swiftly and ruthlessly, with reports of house arrest and coercion that sent a clear message to any other potential challengers. This culture of secrecy extends to their daily lives. Public appearances are meticulously managed. Access by international media is tightly controlled. Leaks, when they happen, often come from exiled family members or foreign intelligence agencies, offering only fleeting glimpses into the power plays that occur behind gilded palace walls. This creates an environment where rumor thrives and power feels absolute. It allows the family to project an image of unity and strength, even when internal tensions may be simmering. This secrecy isn't just a preference, it's a critical tool of governance. It allows the monarchy to maintain an iron grip on the narrative, but it's in the shadows cast by this secrecy that we find the kingdom's deepest and most disturbing controversies. Section 7. The dark side of the crown. Behind the shimmering facade of mega-projects and luxury lies a darker, more brutal reality. The same machinery of power that builds futuristic cities also works to silence and eliminate dissent. For every step towards social liberalization, there is a parallel story of repression. The most infamous example is the 2018 assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. A critic of the Saudi government, Khashoggi was murdered by Saudi agents inside the kingdom's consulate in Istanbul. The incident sent shockwaves around the world, with intelligence agencies concluding the operation was likely approved by senior officials. It cast a permanent shadow over the crown prince's image as a reformer. But Khashoggi's case is not an isolated one. Human rights organizations consistently report on the kingdom's severe restrictions on free speech. Activists and critics who voice even mild dissent have been detained, often facing lengthy prison sentences. Even after release, many face travel bans and surveillance, a constant reminder that they are being watched. The kingdom has also faced intense international criticism for its leading role in the war in Yemen, which has contributed to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. And the lives of millions of migrant workers in the kingdom are often governed by the exploitative kafala, or sponsorship system. Despite some reforms, this system has led to widespread abuses, with numerous reports of unsafe working conditions and wage theft, even on high-profile giga projects. This is the central paradox of the modern Saudi kingdom. It is a nation capable of hosting massive international events and building dazzling resorts. Yet it is also a place where a critical tweet can lead to a prison sentence. Executions have seen a dramatic spike, with human rights groups documenting years where the number has approached 200, many for nonviolent offenses. The same system that produces spectacle and glamour also produces control and fear. From the oil wells of the desert to the gleaming towers of Neom, the story of the House of Saud is a story of the dizzying fusion of wealth and power. We've seen their trillion-dollar fortune, their palaces and floating kingdoms, and the grand vision of a single, powerful prince. We've also seen the secrecy that shrouds their world, and the controversies that haunt their reign. What began as a dynasty built on oil and silence has transformed into a highly centralized kingdom that projects an image of hypermodernity while maintaining an iron grip on control. The luxury is not just a lifestyle, it is a language of power. The mega-projects are not just buildings, they are declarations of intent, and the reforms are intertwined with a system of repression that ensures the absolute authority of the crown. The private world of Saudi royalty is, in the end, a world of contradictions. It is a world of progress and punishment, of spectacle and secrecy. As this new, assertive Saudi Arabia takes its place on the world stage, the family at its heart remains as powerful and enigmatic as ever, influencing the global economy, politics, and the very price of the energy that powers our world. But this leaves us with a final question. What is the true cost of this level of wealth and power, not just for the people of the kingdom, but for us all? What do you think is the most shocking part of the Saudi royal family's world? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the lives of the world's most powerful figures, don't forget to subscribe.